Hi, hello lovely people. Another exciting collab with Rach and Bella. They do some wonderful collabs, and this is one is of course Christmas, what with November being here. And please look in the description below my video to follow everyone else. There's a whole bunch of us for the whole month, super exciting. You'll find a link there and you'll have everyone's names and channels that you can go and follow along with. And also in the description you'll find links to how to get a hold of their beautiful kits. So Rach and Bella have created a absolutely gorgeous, stunning Christmas digital kit, and it's everything from sort of muted colours. I adore this. I'm not going to use this today, but I do want to show you because it's just beautiful. I love this sort of blue. They're sort of shabby, some of the papers, and others are super bright and Christmassy if that's your thing. So you have a lot there to play with according to your style that you like to work with. The idea came about because my prompt is watercolour tags, and I thought, yeah, watercolour tags, that's easy, I can do that. But then I thought, you know what, it's too easy. I've done about 1,000 tags in my lifetime in my mixed media, and they are super fun. But I thought, well, what can I do that's a little bit different? So I'm using watercolour very loosely in this. It's not going to play a huge part. But for the tag, it got me thinking that it's a Christmas tag, right? So unlike most mixed media tags, it isn't just a fun, pretty tag that we're going to stick in a journal. It's one that's very likely going to be on a gift. Okay, so that got me thinking, and I came up with this sort of envelope tag idea, and maybe it's not original, maybe someone has done it before, I don't know, but that was my thinking behind it. So I like this idea of having a tag that worked as a tag in the sense like a label, having someone's name on it, but it's also a place that you could write a little note as well. So that's my idea. Okay, so I've chosen this sort of a bit more of a shabby, muted tone because I just love it. I have printed both sides. So this is just cardstock. You can see it's thicker than paper, obviously, but it's nothing too heavy as well, because we are going to be folding it. So I don't want anything too thick, and it doesn't have to be thick. It just wants to be stronger than your ordinary copy paper. I'll be using a scoreboard, but you don't have to. If you don't have a scoreboard, then just follow along with the measurements. Where I say where the fold is where you can just draw your lines and go from there. So we're going to start with a piece of paper that is 6.5 by 5 inches. So cut that down for yourself. Okay, so I have my 5 by 6.5. I just put it on my scoreboard, and with the 6.5 going downwards like that, and I'm going to mark off 1.25 inches straight down. So if you're measuring this, just measure 1.25 from your left side, and then measure 3.5 inches from your left side. So I'm scoring at the 3.5 mark. Okay, then I'm just rotating at 90 degrees, and I'm going to score at half an inch. The funny thing is that I'm in the UK and I actually use centimeters, but it's very odd. Sometimes I just do things in inches, because just a little cultural tidbit there for you. Okay, so keeping my paper where it was, where I've got the 1/2 inch there, I'm now going to go to 4.5, but I'm not going to go all the way through. So depending on your paper, it's hard to see sometimes, but you'll see you've got your score line there, and then a second score line there, or a ruled line there if you're doing it with pencil. And I'm going to score, but I'm not going to score all the way through that middle section. Hopefully that's not too complicated. If you do, it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to put my finger there because I can't really see it properly. It doesn't ruin your piece or anything like that. I just sort of have to follow it a bit to make sure I'm in the right spot. Won't ruin it, but it's just not quite as good. So that was at 4.5 inches, and I'll go to 5 inches, and I go all the way through this time. All right, So fairly simple. We're going to cut, so let's go to the little one where we've just done that 1/2 inch. Just cut those 2 corners off. And with this one, because you've got 2 here, you've got 2 score lines, one that goes all the way through and the one that doesn't. To go into the furthest one in, we want to cut that off completely, that whole corner. And now that second one. So this is really, really, really easy, really super easy, and it just comes down to how much you want to embellish it, how much you want to fuss over it once it's done, how much time you have, how many presents you have to wrap, that sort of thing. You can always make things extra and more fun, can't we? But for the basic, it's going to be really easy. Okay, so I'm just folding those lines just to get them sort of ready to go. Not quite finished yet. So just to give it nice little finishes, it depends what you have. If you only have a scissors, then just a little nip there, a little nip there, a little triangle, and you can just finish that off nicely. And you can also do the same with the top. If you want rounded, which is what I do, then of course you can use your punch. I'm only doing here at the bottom, and I'm just going to use my smallest 4mm, and you can see I folded in these edges because it's otherwise you won't be able to punch. I'm just using my 4mm corner just to give it a slight, oh, that's not very nice. That's better. It's not the nicest cut. There we go. And that just gives it a slight little rounded bit just to tidy it off. I'm going to just flatten that out nicely. Okay. And this one here, you can see that I am bending. You can see now why I didn't have that score along there, because that wasn't needed. I want to bend it up higher. For the top bit, I'm going to round these bits off. I'm using my 10mm because I just want a really nice rounded bit there. Okay, looking good so far. Sort of like a coin purse type of envelope, but I'm calling it an envelope tag. Coin purse tag is not quite right. In case your tag is going to hang down, you might just want to check that your image is the right way up just before you score everything. Just something worth noting. So I want to have a rounded circle here, which is a little difficult because of it's going to be closed, and there's just a couple of ways of doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It all depends. You can leave this, but it does make it a little easier if you haven't. My punch just makes the bottom bit, just makes it in. This is a 2.5 inch, and this sort of punch means I can just slide it in and it fits in. If it doesn't, before you glue down, then you can just go in and do a quarter, a little larger than a quarter, and it works good enough. So you can see when it closes, it's not perfect. That's awful that way. But I can just go in and take more off, 3/4 of the way in. But it gives a bit of a notch, and it's not too bad. But like I said, if you have one of these and it fits, you can just go in and do it properly. Okay, if you've done it that way, then now is a good time to ink it up on the inside. And if you want to ink up all the edges, that's up to you. You might want to just let that not stand out that you've created an extra edge. So just having a quick think, and before anything happens, before anything gets glued, it's just worth it. All right, all inked up. Please excuse my very inky fingers. I've been working on a big project, and it's just too difficult to try and get everything off, and I'm going back to it anyway, so hey, I'm a full-time artist, this is what happens. Just don't think me complacent. It's just pretty much what my fingers always look like. Right, okay, so happy with that, super cute. Now, before we're going to finish and make it into a tag, let's make a little bit of the inside. And because our little tag envelope here is about 2¼ inches, then 2 inches will be just nice. It will sit in there nicely without it being too tight. And I'm going to make it so that it's just sticks out. So this is 4 inches up to that. So now what I have is a matching card with my little envelope, and because this is the softer side, this is where the writing will go. So you can write a lovely little note there: dear whoever, hope you love your present and have a very happy and Merry Christmas. And it will just stick nicely in here because we're going to make a hole here. First I eyeball this, you know, by all means take a measurement halfway there, and then I just want to make sure that I'm just away from the edge. That's all I need to be. Okay, so what else are we doing? Yes, we're going to do the front. So you've done it really. You've done your little envelope tag, and you can leave it as is. You can just write someone's name at the there. You can then just put a little bit of ribbon through there and make a simple knot here at the top, either immediately or once you know where it's going on your present. That's possibly a little bit long, but you can just do that. And then because it's loose, it opens up nice and easily. If you do it more like a tag where you double loop, you could do that, especially if your tag is going to go, say, inside of sort of where your paper fold is. If you're going to do that, then you can just leave this as like a tag top, not so long. Just don't do it too tight. Just do it nice and loose, and it's still very much openable. So I'm just letting you know that is enough. That is enough for your little tag, if that's as far as you want to go, and you've got lots to make for Christmas. But if you want to get more fancy, we can do. So from the Fussy Cut Bits and Bobs, Rach and Bella have these really cute sort of like gingerbread men and these gingerbread hearts, and obviously printed out to the size that will go onto your tag. So my idea is to make this where the name is going to be of the person you're gifting to, and then just pop these here and there just to make it a little bit extra. I like that. So you could do that for a little bit extra and leave it there. If you want to get more mixed media with me, then come along for the ride. But what I'm after is some metallic watercolors. So if you have any metallic watercolors, now's the time to get them out. So for me, the thing with digital papers, they are so gorgeous. But if you see my previous video, you know that I do love to change up my digitals. It just makes it a little bit more personalized. It makes it you. So I've got two ideas. One idea is really, really simple. If you just want to add a little pizzazz to your digitals, and that's the metallics. Okay, so I'm happy with that. It's got a little bit of glint. Love it. So again, you can stop there, finish up your tag, and you're good to go. Or you can keep on going. All right, so you decide to keep going with me. You're a brave soul. Okay, so what I have here is a stencil, and I thought it was Christmassy enough. It's almost like a snowflake, although it doesn't really matter. It's only going to come out in little bits anyway. And I know that I'm going to, if I put a tag, I'm going to put it here down the bottom. So I'm going to focus here on this bit here without going over my bird. Just you know, considering what's happening there on the design. And I'm placing it in a way that I'm making sure my design goes over the paper, so I don't have any hard edges there. And this time I'm choosing a bit of blue, so something sort of contrasting. I'm going for a complementary scheme here. And again, I always make sure that I have a dry-ish brush, a just damp brush. See how I've just changed that up just a little bit. I was just thinking how nice it would be if you did the same papers for, say, a whole family, but each family member, you gave them a different colour over the top. Just an idea. Okay, so once again, you can stop there, put your little thing on, and you've got your tag, your envelope tag. But if you want to do the extra fussy cuts, so the lovely thing about watercolours is that their transparency, their translucency, means that you don't lose any of your image. And if you do splatter, depending on how much pigment and how much water you have, you can have also this dual colour effect, and that gives it a much more of that arty feel as well, which I think is really lovely. Now, before I stick all these bits on, which you can go ahead and do, I'm just going to do one more thing, which was my idea of making this look like a tag. So not just because of the hole, but I'm going to make these corners fabulous. So this was optional, but this is what for me makes it a tag envelope. But if you like the idea of just the tag, just the envelope on a bit of string, then that's fine too. It's almost, I could call it a secret tag, secret envelope tag. Yay, maybe that's what I'll call it. Secret envelope tag, because from the front it just looks like a tag now. If you for here, you can put yourself a brad and just like a coin purse, and you could do all of that. I don't want to make it look coin pursey like. For me, putting the string on there sort of holds that together, so I'm not bothered about doing anything extra, because I think it's enough that it holds it, and I just like that it's there. It just makes it like a nice neat little envelope. And if you just want to remember where to glue things, just place it where you want and then just move it ever so slightly out of position and use a pencil and mark it. And then when you come to glue it, you go just over where you were. I just think this makes such a lovely personalised label, tag and note. And just make sure you don't cut it until you know where you're going to put it. So there we are. So there's so many stages. You could stop and leave it there and still have a lovely envelope tag, and you just have this lovely tag. If you put this on a present with the person's name on there, straight away everyone can see who the present is for. But then inside they also can see a personalised note where you can just write something small, you know, when you don't want to just give a whole card, but you want to say something a little bit extra than just their name and a tag. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have lots of fun with that, and don't forget to like if you enjoyed this. I would really appreciate that, and follow everyone else along, and I'd love to see what you make. So please tag me on Boho Junk Journal, where I do these vintage style. Bye.